So this is the typical materials for each week, or at least each lecture. You see there are PDFs, two PDF, one for the slides, one for the reading notes. If you click any of them, for this is the one, anytime it says week 3, that's the reading materials for that week. You see that this is like from different books. I don't expect you to read every details of it, but at least some materials I collected from these PDFs. So if you have any question related to very specific part of it, you can find those. When you prepare for quiz or exams, I don't expect that you read line by line of any of those materials. As long as you can answer those assessment questions, you should be prepared for the quiz as well as midterms. But for more example, you should look for these materials. So these are the reading materials. Again, this is not mandatory that you read everything about it. Group selection, you see this is the link, second link. That's where I expect you to click and make choices among these groups that I thought. So if you see, these are multiple groups, groups based on different types of green infrastructures, and group based on different types of either pollutant specific. For instance, you can create a group who will focus on how to remove very specific type of pollutants, and then you do literature review about every type of green infrastructures that's helpful for removing those pollutants. For instance, you can think of plastic as a pollutant, and you can say that, okay, I'm going to design this green infrastructure such a way that you can remove plastics from the environment. So that could be one type of group. Same thing, you can say, I'm going to design green infrastructure such a way that it remove lots of nutrients from the stormwater. So there it's contaminant specific. And the second one is site specific. This is very relevant for the consulting projects, because most of the projects will be a site specific. There will be a site, and they will ask you to design green infrastructure around those areas. So those are site specific. You have to decide a site, but we'll choose the site we'll have time to select a site for that. For instance, UCLA is one site, or a portion of UCLA. You'll say that I'm going to change the all the sidewalk into green infrastructure such a way that it will also treat stormwater. So there could be site-specific project. The last one, you see, I have chosen my project. That's based on my conversation with some of you, because many of you are working on different projects for different class, and you also saw an opportunity there how to somehow modify that project and improve it using this class. I'm also open for that. So if you have certain projects in mind, share that with the rest of the class, unless you have already enough team members to work on it. All right, so let's see. You have 27 responses. As you can see, it says how many people are for different selections. Some have more people, some have less people, and the group who has less people will move that to some other group. For instance, let's say Sarah says infiltration-based green infrastructures. In fact, that's the most common green infrastructures. So what we could do is we could move Sarah to something other green infrastructure projects which has also infiltration as a part of the projects. For instance, site-specific project. It could have infiltration based green infrastructure as part of it, so we can move there. So let me see how the group develops. For now, for instance, wetland. We know that enough people sign up for the wetland, so that means we can say that this group is complete, because you should not have more than 7 people. So we can call this group as complete. So whoever signed for wetland, you can say that I am done with here. There is other issue with other group like permeable pavements. I saw that 8 students sign up there, but I know that 8 students is too much. So some of you has to move. But another thing we can do is we can bring some of the students from here to green roof. Permeable pavements or green roof have very similar design. The difference is plant. So I'll request some of you if you want to change that to green roof from here. Site-specific project. So we have 4 students. Once you have 4 students, you should start thinking of which site you have in mind. If you have a site, you should start discussing that and let me know. Pollutant specific, for instance, Joshua has only person signed for that. If they are not, we'll let this whole things evolve, because we know that only 27 signed up so far. The class has 43 students. So let's wait for everybody to sign up and before we make the decision on that. All right, so that's the group. Then you see this is practice project discussions. That's where you can ask any questions. Again, this is not needed here. You can do that same thing on Piazza, but I just in case somebody doesn't have access to Piazza or have difficulty, CCL is you can do that here too. Practice quiz question. This is very important for you. The reason is these are the questions help you assess your learning experience, as well as for me to know whether you have learned the right answers. So if you see those quiz questions, you don't need to have, you can have multiple attempts. I'm not selecting that you, in fact, you can have enough attempt until you get the right answers. I'll give an example here. What is the rainfall intensity if 0.2 inch rain occurs within 10 minutes? So I ask you rainfall intensity, which is inch per hour, but I give you how much rainfall happens in certain durations. So the real answer, let's say 0.2 inch happens in 10 minutes. The correct answer is in 1 hour, how much that rainfall would be. So if it's 0.2 inch per 10 minutes, you have 10 minutes in 1 hour, 60 minutes. So that means it will be 6 times 0.2. So that will be here. But let's say I choose the wrong answer. I didn't tell, but there are, I thought I have some notes. If when you choose a wrong answer, it will tell you. But I don't see this one. But anyway, you should keep going and answer any questions related to that. Whatever, it will invoke certain thought in your mind. And then you come to the class, you already have some thought about those questions. And then when you go through the materials, it will be a lot easier for you to learn those concepts. So I'll post those quiz time to time. And again, the real quiz will be very similar to this kind of question. So it's also a practice for your quiz. The final one is the slides. I'll continue to update these slides. I post some initial version of the slide. Doesn't mean that those slides are finals. The reason is I update mine, I make some minor changes before the class, so I'll upload the final slide at the end too. But this is just so that you have some time to assess those materials. Any question?